Cool. Next, we'll talk about body design. So what I'm using is just a simple, general Bondo filler adhesive that I get at like Harbor Freight Tool or like Craig and Kmart, anything. I got my mixed paddle. I got these little plastic paddles I get at Harbor Freight for like a couple bucks, and you know, it comes with the hardener. And if you have never mixed Bondo before, it's good to put it's a two-part, so you got to mix the Bondo, and then you got to put a hardener, and then you got to mix it together. And it's good to just get some Bondo, just slap it on there if you're doing it for the first time, and just practice mixing it around, you know, so you get the hang of it. It's got to be well mixed properly, and then once it's applied to the frame, you know, just take your time with it and just kind of coat it, skim it, because when you lay the Bondo, it's a process. You got to build it. You got to build it up in layers. So this is right here. It's got a lot of Bondo on there on top of the sheet metal, and I just keep layering it and layering it. You know, following the curve. And so generally, if the Bondo sets up, depending on how much harder you put in there, hardener, and then you got your cheese graters. You know, while it's still fresh, you know, still a little moist, the Bondo, then you shred it with the cheese to get the majority of the Bondo off the frame, so it's less sanding to do later. After the Bondo's applied, I'll grab my orbital sander. I got this at Harbor Freight for like 20 bucks. It's like a 6-inch. You know, you get all the sanding pads on there. I use like 60 to 220 for the sanding part. And it's really cool, but also keep in mind it makes a lot of dust. So do make sure you got your dust mask. And you probably want, I wear full clothing when I'm doing this, because that dust gets everywhere. And I also use basically this type of sander, and I get all the pads for it, so you know, bump, bump, bump. Because before you prime this frame, you want to make sure that you use probably up to maybe, I'd say up to like a 220 grit, because you want it smooth as possible.